What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Horror Heads podcast. I'm Rich Mallory here with my co-host Jerry Lorenko.
The fuck's up? I'm ready to party, Rich.
Yeah, me too. Keep that energy. Really excited tonight. We have special guest Stephen Cognetti here. Stephen is the creator, writer, director of the House LLC franchise, as well as 825 Forest Road, a really cool ghost story. We're also going to be talking about Undertone from A24 later, a little later on the episode. You can follow us on Instagram at Horror Heads Podcast or email us horrorheadspodcast@gmail.com. We release new episodes every Tuesday. Occasionally we'll drop one on a Friday as a surprise, but every Tuesday you get this wherever podcasts are available. Or you can watch us on YouTube where you can see how fucked up we all get and watch the debauchery. And like, subscribe, do all the things. So Steven, thanks so much for coming on. How's it going?
Let's party, guys.
All right, here we go. Really excited because not only is it we're really happy to have Steven on, but we already noticed he has a drink poured and is ready to go. So Steven, how's it going?
Cheers. You fucking
Cheers.
ready to
All
party?
right.
I'm ready to party. I don't think
He's ready to party. All right,
so you're not on my level of ready to party. Right?
Without further ado, let's get to the drinking, and we'll talk to Steven in a little bit. So, Steven, actually, what do you have there that you're drinking tonight with us?
Oban 14.
Ooh,
Gotcha.
Oban.
Okay,
That's
Oban 14 Scotch.
gorgeous.
I'm trying to open this right now. I'm doing something a little different. This is a Bowls very old fashioned cocktail. It's one of those
Ooh.
mixed drinks. It was actually two for $5. So we're gonna
Oh.
drink this and see what it's all about. I'm not expecting much because again, two for $5, but let's try it. I'm pouring this. Jerry, what do you got?
I don't know. I'm starting to reconsider my drink. I didn't know there was pouring some Oban tonight, but I think I'm gonna go with a classic, one of my favorites. I'm gonna go with some Buffalo Trace and give it a hero pour, just like that. Ooh.
Very nice. Looks good coming into that glass, especially with that blue lighting. All right, let's cheers. Let's start drinking and start talking.
Here we go.
Oh, this is gnarly. This is really bad. I'm a huge old fashioned fan. Like
I
I'll
love old
usually
fashions. Yeah.
that's usually my go-to when I go to a bar. I love to see how different people make it. This might be the worst one I've ever had.
Listen, when you say the words in 2026, two for $5, you know you're gonna get something awful. Nothing costs that little anymore.
No. And it was at like the front of like the liquor store, so it wasn't even like it's like an impulse buy, but they're just trying to get rid of these. But it is 30% alcohol though.
That is pretty much like
yeah.
they're almost paying you at that point.
Yeah, but anyway, this is gonna be torture to get through, but we're gonna do it.
Let me guess. Not enough bitters in there, is there?
There's not enough like anything that's good in here. It's just misery in a glass. It doesn't even taste like an old fashioned. I don't even know what it tastes like.
I do like, so I like those, how you can go to some liquor stores and see that they have the mixes. The old fashioned's already made in a bottle, like, but some are worse than others. But
Yeah, like I'm a
it's such
fan
a
of
weird
like,
looking thing too. It's like it's in like a tube.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
That's
that was
why-
the indicator, right?
and it's like
it's like a
paper. It's
test
not
tube.
even glass. It's like
Oh man,
yeah,
dude, you struck
I'm a
out
big
like
a
that.
large cigar tube. Or something.
kind of, yeah. For those watching who are not watching at home, and I highly suggest you go to YouTube to watch it. It is a long paper tube that this old fashioned is in, and
Listen.
it's not good. And I'm a fan of canned cocktails and like when you buy pre-mixed drinks, but this is
Yeah.
like not it.
Rich, before we get going here, man, what the fuck were you thinking?
Two for $5 is what I was thinking. I'm broke, bitch. I'm on a budget here. So anyway, enough about me and this disgusting drink. We really wanted to get to know Steven. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the creator of the House LLC franchise, 5 films. I think you might be the first franchise creator that we've had on the show. So really exciting. So we kind of want to get to know a little bit about kind of, how you started in filmmaking and like what led you to make some found footage movies and then branch off into more narrative kind of features. Would love to kind of know your origin story.
Yeah, I started off making pre-mixed cocktails in a tube form, and that business kind of it didn't work out for me. Like nobody was buying them. Had to start giving them away two for $5, so like our margins weren't great. And so then I got into filmmaking. I think when it comes to low budget filmmaking, as you guys know, found footage horror, very oversaturated, a subgenre of horror. And I think the reason for that is because, it's easy to make. easy to make, relatively speaking, like budget wise. You can make it like the big successes. They've all been made for like 15,000, 20,000. The Paranormal Activities, the Blair Witches. So it's an endeavor that a lot of people get into though. So there's some good ones, some bad ones though. But I never I went to film school. I went to Temple University in Philadelphia for film, and I never saw myself making horror movies. I loved the genre obviously my whole life, but I never saw myself making them. But then at some point, I knew I needed to attract investment to make my first feature. And so I wrote Hell House, and that was my first try at writing horror. And then that's where I just kind of got my love for horror, and I was having fun writing scares, and I think it's a lot of fun. As a filmmaker, I just think it's a great genre to get into, especially when you're just starting out on working on a low budget, because horror audiences are just great. They don't really care about your budget. They just want to make sure the movie's scary. They don't care if you film for $10. They don't care if they don't recognize anybody in the film. They just want a good scare, and that's what I love about making movies in the genre. It's rewarding for that reason. Not everything turns out as the original Hell House did. We have some misses. I have some misses on my resume as well, but I think that's the challenge of always just trying to get back to the drawing board and get the next horror concept going is fun. It's a fun challenge.
Yeah, so the Hell House, the first movie, it focuses on a Halloween style haunt that where everything goes wrong and lots of people die. And again, Jerry and I are huge fans of haunts. Jerry's a huge fan of haunt movies in
Yeah.
general. That's like his favorite
Obsessed.
genre.
Yeah.
And haunt people are fun. The people that make the haunts are fun. And I was surprised. I mean, this is 10 years ago when 10 years ago when it was released. We filmed in 2014, but I was surprised that it was a kind of like a concept that really hadn't been touched yet, and which is tough to find something that's kind of unique within like everything's a haunted house, but as you know, Amityville, the haunted house epicenter, but to find something unique within the space, like haunted house within a commercialized haunted house, was a concept that hadn't really been broached yet too much, luckily for me. So there was something that was kind of fresh within the genre, was haunted house gone wrong.
Definitely love that concept. And I feel like a lot of like what you did, even though like at that time, everyone's kind of familiar with like all the tropes of, found footage, but I feel like you were definitely kind of giving it a different voice and adding like this layer of like real authenticity to it that I didn't see in a film before. Like what I really liked about your films is that you would kind of have like that real footage that would be like, oh, this was kind of pulled from YouTube. Oh,
Yeah.
this was a user's phone. This was from Google. I mean, like nobody was really thinking about taking something that's like kind of absurd and kind of like anchoring it in real life. And I
Mhm.
thought that's really what Hell House did, like and made it like super, super original. And I could see like why it caught fire and like why you made like five films after that, because it was really, really different, I think, in that sea of found footage. But I mean, my question is that you're basically making like a ghost story. You tell
Mhm.
like some fucked up ghost stories. Is that what scares you? Is that a core fear? Is that what scares you now? Like what made you decide to kind of like pick
I,
like the haunted house and run
yeah.
with it?
Yeah, no, I love ghost stories. I just I think just and the simpler the better. I just love something that's so easy but yet so chilling at the same time. Like, and you see that in a lot of the scares in Hell House. That there's nothing over the top with them. There's nothing overly complicated about them. It's just very subtle things happening in the background, just things that give you a chill. And that's my favorite kind of um, story and scare to write. But yeah, no, Hell House was I mean, listen, you said like taking all those things and making it and grounding it, but I really just wanted to make it the documentary feel as real as possible. And I think that if it feels real while you're watching it, then it's just scarier. And I think that's why found footage films are scary, is because of that realism. And so if you don't just have like just found footage where it's just like we're just presented with like raw footage, and they say like, hey, we found this guy's footage, they're missing, here's their footage, have fun, watch, but something that's more done like a finished polished documentary where someone actually took the footage, went through the editing process, and kind of presented to the audience a finished documentary. And that is the Lake Mungo style,
Mm.
which I just loved so much. It just adds another layer of realism that just makes every scare more it just impactful because it just feels real. So that was the whole goal, is just make it feel real, and don't go over the top too much. Because once you go over the top too much, once you show the shark, you can lose people. So if you just keep things subtle, you will keep them creeped out through the whole film. That's the goal. Yeah, and I love ghost stories. I my whole life, and it's just like telling them, just like with friends, around the campfire in the '90s and when I was growing up and stuff like that. That's just fun.
Yeah, love that. Definitely tapping into like those core fears of like, the dark and what's around the corner and
Mhm.
really like
Well, also adding like a mystery. It's like that's the thing. One of my favorite shows of all time is Lost,
okay, yeah,
and the
awesome.
whole thing is like they just set up this mystery, and and the whole time you're invested. Every episode, you're just hoping you're going to find out a little bit more of that mystery, and it's really frustrating at times. We all remember the Pablo and Nikki episode, but it's I love that about horror too. If you just set up like a mystery that's just fun for the audience in the first act, it's just like you just get invested. You're just like, not only are we in a scary movie and we're hoping to see fun scares, but we also have some kind of mystery that like we're gonna find out and we want to find out. We're invested in watching the whole 90 minutes because it's fun to find out what this mystery is. And the mystery we set up in Hell House is just what happened on opening night. It's a mystery to the audience. So in the movie, I think that's a lot of fun for audiences. It's just being set up with a central mystery to follow along on top of all the scary things that are happening.
Yeah,
How I
definitely
just want to
wasn't
ask,
good.
so like, you made Hell House LLC, it's a pretty big hit, and then again, you made four other sequels, and then you made an unrelated movie, 825
Yeah.
Forest Road. How like difficult is as a creative type because like you have this fan base that's expecting something
Mhm.
and like you have to deliver on it, right? But you also want to do something that's a little different, like you've grown as a filmmaker. Can you like walk me through like some of like your creative process and how you kind of get over some of that?
Oh,
Because again, like
yeah.
you know how horror fans are great, but they're also terrible at the same time too. And if you don't do exactly what they expect, it's like very
Oh,
hard to like, get them back on board. So
yeah. Well, yeah, I was on social media after Lineage came out, so I know how the dark side of horror fans
yeah,
can be.
letterbox is never look at letterbox if you're a
Um,
filmmaker.
but that's okay. I love the passion, so I never let bad reviews get me down. But I'm just always just thankful that anyone goes to see a film of mine anyway. So, but yeah, no, it's very difficult because the, I came to understand that the sequel business is a very tough business, and especially when you have I think, well, let me back up. I think the sequel business is very tough because there's expectations. And once you have expectations, they have to be met, or else, people just will be negative towards the film. And so you take this on a grander scale, like think about Star Wars. I think the toughest thing in the world as a creative type is has to be to make a Star Wars film because that is the peak of expectations among a fan base, right? So we're on a very micro level of that. So I just got to experience on a micro level of like what are the expectations of an audience, especially when it comes to sequels. I think it's very tough to do what I want to do, where I want to take the story, but also know that I have to please a lot of people that are expecting different things. And the whole thing, the challenge is how do we please a lot of those expectations. And we're never going to be able to do all of that, but maybe get some of it. And, hopefully sometimes, it works out. A lot of times it doesn't. I think but that's to come what I hate about sequels. And I want to get out of sequels because of that, because when you make something original, there are no I guess like just expectations about what this film should be, what I going into it as an audience member, what I want this film to be, what I expect this film to be, what I think, where I think the story should go. That's not there. And so there's no expectations that way. So therefore it's people get to sit and just let the story take it wherever it goes. Where when you're dealing with sequels, there's a lot of expectations and that could be good or bad. But so I think it's a very tough part of the process of writing sequels in any genre. But especially, I mean, for me, just obviously we're not as big as other franchises, but we're very small potatoes. But even on that small level, it was very tough. And um, I do obviously well always have regrets whenever there's fans that were disappointed with where one of the sequels went. And I learned a long time ago there are no mulligans, so just have to live with it. So.
It's out of the world. And you took a really big risk with Lineage, right? Making it not found footage. And I could imagine what the reaction was. Can I ask like
It
why?
wasn't spoiler alert, it wasn't great. So-
Which is a bummer, right? Because like,
yeah. No,
it's your it's your
and
movie,
like
you know?
in hindsight, I so get it. I totally get that, and I think maybe I will go to my grave always battling in my head like that whole decision, and just like and sometimes just saying like no, like screw it, it was the right thing to do. And then other days I'll wake up and I'll say like this film has a following, not a big following, but has a pretty it's a loyal following. And you want to give a loyal following what they want rather than what I want. And I think maybe I went a little too much of what I wanted. So there's regret for that. Um, but again, there's no do-overs. The film is there. That's what it is. It can't change that. And so I do feel bad at times, and
You know
because
what though, like as an artist though, like you're gonna look back on everything 10 years from now, 5 years from now, and regret like all kinds of things anyway, because you're like, oh, I could have done it this way, I could have done it better. Like you made the
Mhm.
right decision for what you thought was best at the time. It was the story you
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
mean,
tell,
listen, I
right?
mean, I look back to the original Hell House and just be like, oh, I wish I did so many. Like, you watch, and I think any filmmaker watches their films, no matter how well received they are at the time, they'll still have things they want to change about them. Yeah, no. Anyways, I'm just whenever you get me going about Lineage, I could just I go on and on and on. You get me talking about Lineage and have a scotch in me.
Wait
Coming
till
up
you're on your
anytime.
third scotch. No, I'm kidding. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I know Jerry has some more questions. The one I just want to ask is out of the five Hell House movies, which like one is do you have a favorite?
No, I don't have a favorite. I have ones that I enjoyed making more than others because some were challenging. What I do really like is I liked the fourth one a lot, and that was just because that was like the first time since the original that it was almost like making something original within the franchise itself. So it didn't really feel like a direct sequel. It kind of felt like its own movie, and therefore I think that's why it was the best received of all the sequels. But I had a lot of fun making that just because our location was new, it was fresh. We were out of the Abaddon Hotel, so like new cast. And So that one was I just remember just having a lot of fun making. And the original I had fun making as well, but there was just so much on the line, and it was my first feature. There's just a lot of um, stress involved with all the business and trying to figure out everything at the same time while trying to make a film for the first time, feature film for the first time. So like I don't remember that as like the most pleasant experience.
Yeah.
But I do remember by the time we got to the fourth one, it was a very smooth experience and I just like everything we did. I just liked coming out and doing something original within the franchise. So I think like I always just go back to four as just something like, but I have great memories of all of them, two, three, and five. Working with the cast, the different crews, different casts, different crews on all of them, different cinematographer, five different cinematographers.
Oh
Just have
wow.
Oh wow.
great experience with each of them, and just good friendships with everybody. But in terms of like a favorite, I just have things I like about all of them. But I just to long answer short, long answer. I'll wrap it up here. Four is just something that sticks out just because it was a sequel that I actually like enjoyed every part of it. Like it was well received, and I also like enjoyed making it as well at the same time.
I think it takes a minute or a few films to kind of get your confidence and really get your vision. It's like it's all a learning process, right? And like it's incredibly stressful, but like once you kind of get in the swing of things, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've done this before. I could do this again. It becomes more freeing, I feel.
Yeah, like filmmaking is always funny because like with all the stress and anxiety and everything is like it's all about the lead up to it. And what's the quote? It's like the scariest time is right before you begin. And that's always true of most things, but it's really true in filmmaking because once you're in it, you're in it. And you don't like there's no butterflies, there's no stress, there's nothing. You're just,
Because there's no time to think. Like you're just
I guess
go,
that
go,
might
go.
be it. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's mostly just because we're all coked out anyways, but no, but yeah, no, I think that's it. Is that there's no time to think. You're constantly just go, go, go. So it's just but the lead up is always the time where you're just like pulling your hair on. It's just like, how are we ever going to get this done? So on $17 budget.
You had that much. Wow.
Yeah,
Not bad for a first film.
That's awesome. So the fourth one was Carmichael, right?
Carmichael Manor, yeah, Origins,
Yeah, I love that one, and you really fucked me up, Steven, on that one because I hate to admit it, but I really spent an inordinate amount of time trying to track down that bottle of bourbon that fucking Chase was drinking, and it was a goddamn prop. And Rich finally
Sorry,
found
yeah.
it,
Well,
and I'm like.
I mean, that's the part of filmmaking. We're not allowed to, like, I'm not going to pay $50,000 to our entire budget right there to some,
Well, he could have had it sideways. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna be drinking the same fucking bourbon that Chase was drinking.
Oh,
And Steven's
I
gonna like
appreciate the
that.
effort, though.
And I spent like all night looking, and then the next day I'm like, dude, can you figure this out? And I'm like,
Yeah, he sent me a
and
picture,
I'm using
like a
AI,
screen
I'm using
grab.
everything trying to figure it out. Like it's like
He sent me a screen grab like literally the other day, and I'm just looking at it, like trying to read what it says and trying to figure it out. And then I'm like on Google image search trying to find a match. And then I found like, oh shit, I found it. And I was like, oh no, it's a
yeah,
prop.
so I just want you, but otherwise, I really enjoyed that one as well. I mean, I like the time hops that you did, and the way the film actually looked different depending on like what period of time it was. I thought that was like super super cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah,
No
we're just,
problem.
well, I mean, that's just like you're trying to do film and found footage, but trying to tell a narrative story as much as possible, a traditional narrative story while hampered by the found footage. So I thought that was a fun way to do it. So having the different looks, the 16 millimeter film look and all that. So, but no, thank you. I'm honored that you went through the effort to try to find the he was drinking. But that was, yeah, a prop. It was a label that was made by Sophie Schneider, our production designer in that film, and she's a production designer on that Lineage and A25. So she's just does fantastic work. Wardrobe and production design.
Yeah, it's a bummer it's not real because now I'm drinking this $2.50 old fashioned instead of drinking that.
I'm just trying to figure out the mindset where someone goes into the store and says, "Oh, that looks like a cool thing. That looks like it's going to be delicious," you know?
There's like 1,000 bottles, and you landed on that,
Yeah,
but we're
yeah.
really.
And look, here's the thing. If I go to the liquor store and I see something, I want to try it. Like, no matter what it is. Like, if it's in a weird bottle, the can looks cool, I'm trying it. I'm that guy that will.
Yeah, no, I respect that. Yeah, I don't.
Ones of it says White Lightning sour mash bourbon.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like beers, there's so many of the beer like have like cool labels, and you just want to try them. And yeah, I get that. Same thing like a cigar that has a cool wrapper, and you just want to you try that too. So I get that. I respect it, but I mean, it's just the tube alone is just that's red flag city right there.
Again, if it was glass, that'd be one thing, but it's paper. I can't move on from this. Like, it's because I'm just
We're
trying to
lucky Steven didn't sign off as soon as he saw that, man. You should be like, nope.
Oh, you're breaking out the nice stuff for me. Really
Who the fuck are
appreciate
these
that.
guys?
So okay, so you made the five Hell House movies, and you did go off in a different direction, very similar in, I would say, tone to Lineage. It is another ghost story, A Too Far Forest Road. So I guess I want to like learn more about kind of the process between like what's the differences for you in making a found footage versus a like traditional narrative feature. To me, like I've never tried to make a found footage movie. It seems really complicated to get it right. So I'm just kind of curious like how you kind of approach that one as opposed to some of the Hell House movies.
I like traditional features more just because I like planning out shots, and when found footage, you could plan out shots to a certain extent almost, but then once you're in action, it's kind of like who's holding the camera, either the actor or the cinematographer. It's really anything can happen from there on. But so I like more planned out shots, more stylized lighting, and a better look. So I was excited to do 825. But the thing is, 825 came out the same, what, last year, 25. But we shot that in 21. So I shot that film before Origins, even
Oh
Carmichael
wow.
Manor. So it was just a long time into the edit process. The concept itself, I thought the concept was fun. It was kind of weaponsy in a way, if you think about it, because it was supposed to be really what it's supposed to be is the same haunted house told from three different perspectives. So everyone's experiencing it differently, and we find out everyone's and it all comes together in the end in the third act. Um, so I like that. There's so many things I wish I could do over again on that film as well. But what I learned is that it's tough to do traditional narratives on a budget. As you can get away with so many things in found footage on a budget that you can't get away with a narrative, and especially your days. Your days are tough. It's like while I love camera setups, traditional coverage of scenes and really taking your time with the camera. It's tough to do when you have so few days to do it and you have so many pages of script to get in. You can blow through like 10 pages of script in a day in found footage, but you can't do that, traditional narrative. So, that was just something. It was just a different experience, a different type of filmmaking altogether. Um, and it was a different type of filmmaking altogether. And then Airplane, it's a different type of filmmaking. I don't know why that popped in my head. I love anytime I say altogether. It's just I expect everyone to know Airplane by heart and just immediately repeat back to me what I just said.
It took a
Um,
minute. I was really young when it came
I'm also drinking a really terrible old fashioned, so I'm a little slow right now.
out.
but yeah, no, the process is different. The whole because you have to do a lot of shot design setups, and it's a lot more planning the look and the scheme and so it's a lot more a lot of prep with the cinematographer to plan the look. Where found footage has to feel more authentic. So there's not too much stylization to the look. We could do some fun things with the lighting, like think just Carmichael Manor, like we do some fun gags with like the lights flickering going out and he sees his dead sister in the hallway. Like we could do fun things like that, but still it's not a highly cinematic look that has to be planned too much in the pre-process. So I think it's just more prep in traditional narrative.
I think what was super interesting about 825 is it was fucking scary, and most of it took place during the day. How
Mm.
challenging was that for you to kind of make something scary, like in the daylight? You can't really hide it behind like, some shadows and like a shaky camera. Like you had that
I
shit
know.
like perfect, but it really it translated and it was scary. So how was that different, I guess, as
I
opposed?
love that challenge. I wanted to write pretty much most of it taking place in the day,
Oh wow.
in 825. So when I'd shot that in 21 and still hadn't come out by the time we were going to Origins. So I kind of built in some scenes into Origins that took place during the day because I was really anxious. Like I wanted to show some daylight scares, and 825 hadn't come out yet. So I'm like, well, damn it, I'm going to put some daylight scares into Origins, because I know that's going to come out. It's just the process with the Hell House films are usually, we shoot it and like 6 months later it's out. So yeah, it doesn't really take that long. But I think that's fun to do things different in different environments and see if they will land. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I did like bringing a mannequin into 825 as well. Uh, Inanimate
Yeah,
objects
that
That's a
was
moving.
scary fucking mannequin too.
horrifying.
Yeah, that was fun. She was fun, and trying to make it look like a very worn down, very used old mannequin was a tough process to do on a budget. Our makeup artist did a very good job with that. This using different kinds of clays to kind of make it look like it's more like chipped paint, and we're almost at the base of what the mannequins would be once the paint has chipped off. So And just to make it look a little scarier though. So that was a lot of fun. Just something without a clown for once. So
I mean, super unsettling, and you're bringing up the clown. You definitely introduced us to like one of the scariest clowns in probably cinema, and that's because it wasn't like it wasn't supposed to move. It wasn't supposed to do anything. And I think that's where you kind of like to fuck with us, Steven, is you take like these inanimate objects and you just move them just enough. And I think honestly, as a kid, and probably all of us as kids, whenever I would see things, I'm like, did that just move? You know? And like you tap that button and it kind of freaks me out. And I really liked,
yeah,
the
that's fun. That
progression.
stuff's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the progression of the clown throughout the Hell Houses because at first it's like, did I see it move?
Right.
And it moves a little bit. And then by the time you kind of get deeper, into the franchise, they start moving up. Like that this clown is trouble. Every time you see it, it's blocking doors, it's attacking people. And that's super scary. And I did want to ask you if that was kind of like a nod, like having like I think Martha, was that the name of the
Yeah,
mannequin?
Martha, yeah.
Having Martha in is you trying to make like a statement there about inanimate objects? Is curious.
I do find that very terrifying. Inanimate objects, things being where they shouldn't be, where they're not supposed to be. And did I see that move? And so yeah, I think the uncanny valley of certain things, and that all I find fun and terrifying at the same time. So yeah, I always want to do that. Add something into my films if I can, some kind of object that shouldn't that is has moved but shouldn't have, and just I think that's fun. It's a fun thing to play on. And when it comes to mannequins are just creepy, depending
Yeah,
what they look like. Um,
absolutely.
I was just watching with my 10-year-old. I've introduced him to the Conjuring universe.
Oh my God.
Um, and yeah, he's having so much fun watching it. I have an 8-year-old that's like won't go near my office because he knows my clown masks are in there, and he won't go near the room where we're watching those movies. And he's my scaredy cat. But my 10-year-old just like loves it. He just wants. He's like, I took him to the Waldorf, the Abaddon Hotel, the real haunted house where we filmed the
What?
movies. I took him there last year, last Halloween. He had so much fun. But anyways, but like we just watched Annabelle Comes Home, and I remember like, oh wow, that's such like a good use of mannequins in that in the room there. I'd seen that years ago, and I forgot that they had like so many creepy mannequins. Like the bride mannequin was in the corner there, and I thought, that stuff is just and it's just freaky. I love the idea of those kind of inanimate objects, but seemingly human-like inanimate objects. So that's great.
Yeah, I don't think you ever really see Annabelle's like arms move. Like she'll rise up, I guess, on occasion, but like in all those movies, like it doesn't really move that much, and that's what makes
No,
it
not
really
very little
scary.
movement from Annabelle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but what I
What?
appreciate about that movie it was this they added in a few mannequins that are just like hanging out. They got that idea from me, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. Big fans of
Uh,
Hell House, I am
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I was
They
I was
watched them on
I was
Shudder.
listed in the credits for sure. And no, no, but I appreciate any horror movie that just like plays with that idea. It's a fun concept. If you do it right, it could be really freaky. And so
So, a question I ask like most of the filmmakers we have on, just 'cause I'm just curious, like if just say a studio, major studio is going to give you a big truck full of money and they wanted you to remake a movie, like what would be one movie you'd want to like remake and put your spin on it? And we're not anti-remake here. Like there are some remakes that are really good.
Yeah,
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
some great reboots, some great remakes that have been going on lately. But I oh, you know what? Like actually, I never saw myself when I was a kid, and I always wanted to be a filmmaker ever since I could remember having memories. Um, I One of the first novels I ever read, horror novels I ever read, was The Stand by Stephen King,
Mm.
and is to this day my favorite novel by far. I've read it like 15 times. I love it so much. It's just an experience. Every time I read it, it's just something new I find, right? But what I remember in the 90s seeing that miniseries, The
It was
Stand.
awful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but in the 90s it was great.
Mm.
In retrospect, it's very TV soap opera-y. It's very ABC miniseries. Like so, but back in the day, as a kid, like watching it for the first time, like and seeing the devil in the cornfield and stuff, that terrified me. I thought that was really freaky.
I just
But
remember thinking when I
yeah.
saw it, and I haven't seen it since the 90s. I just remember thinking they left, like, it felt like they left the best parts of the book out for some reason. Like, there, maybe I was a big fan of the book too
Well,
as
yeah,
like a
but that's,
kid.
I mean, so that's where I'm going with this, is
Okay,
that
cool.
I think that if that were like a 10 episode HBO series or something like that could be epic and be awesome and just be really dark. And I know it had been art. That's my dream reboot. We're just talking in a fantasy world because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
already know that it had been remade or rebooted, whatever you want to say, on um who it was
Was it
there was a big
Peacock?
name.
I forget who, but I remember, I know what you're talking about. I never
Someone
watched
did
it
it. Yeah,
though.
but it was on a streamer that I don't have. But it was on a random streamer. But I remember it did have some big names in it.
All right, HBO, if you're listening, give Stephen Cognetti a truck
They
full of
are
money
listening.
and creative freedom to make that movie. So I don't know if you could.
$17. That's all I need. $17.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We want to get you a lot of money. So is there anything you're working on now that you could tell us about, or anything you have like planned, things you want to do? Like what's next for you?
I want to skydive, but I don't.
That's found footage horror to
Yeah,
me.
but I don't like to talk about that too much, just because it's just like I don't know. No, yeah, no, I'm working on a film. It's I could say a little bit about it because some stuff is public though, but we are shooting my script Abaddon in the Woods in September. And that is a story that's more about a witch, and it's a period piece.
Oh
And it takes
wow.
place, yeah, it takes place in the woods, early 20th century, around like the ni early 1900s. Um, and it's go. I love this story, and I wrote it a couple of years ago. We're finally gearing up to get into production, but it's very different. Good scares, good characters. Emma Roberts is the lead.
Oh wow.
She's
Oh cool.
yeah, she's going to be amazing, and it she is obviously amazing in all things she does, but especially horror too. Um, she's done so much good work in that genre and in many other genres too. But so yeah, we're gearing up for that. That's what I got going on in the future. Nothing else. Nothing else. Just
I mean, we have to ask: is it fucking found footage?
It's a period piece. That'd be crazy. I don't think that's been done before.
it's the first camera ever made. It's very stop motiony.
It could be first person. It could be
Yeah,
like, not found footage, but first person.
yeah. It's the Lumiere brothers. It's their story. No, it's not found footage, but it is. No, I mean that's pretty much it. It's just very. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's very. It takes place. It's in the woods. It's period piece. It involves a witch, and it's scary. That's all I will say. I would love to say a lot more because I've been sitting on the script for about 2 years waiting to make it. But I know I can't wait to get into production and eventually, finally, letting people, when images and clips and trailers or something come out, just want people to see this because I think they will appreciate it on a few different levels.
Awesome. Well, we'll look out for that. I did forget to mention at the very beginning of the show, we are going to talk about a movie tonight. It's not just going to be
Mm.
interviewing Steven. So we are going to talk about A24's Undertone, which came out very recently. And we'll ask Steven some more questions to kind of get through it. But I do want to get to this movie that we're going to talk about. So it's interesting in this movie. So I like really didn't want to watch it. And I've seen it twice now. I didn't want to watch it because like when it came out at first, like there was so much hype from the influencers that saw it and everybody was like, oh, it's the scariest movie, blah, blah. And then I started talking to friends who had seen it in the theater and they were all like, yeah, it's terrible. It's not worth the hype. It makes no sense. So I was like, whatever, I'll give it a chance. And so I went in with low expectations and surprisingly, like I actually really liked it, which I did not expect I would like it. So let me give you the plot of it really quick. The host of an all things creepy podcast moves into her dying mother's house to be her primary caregiver. When the podcast is sent 10 audio recordings of a young pregnant couple experiencing paranormal activity, she realizes the woman's story is a mirror of her own, and each new recording they play scratches at her sanity, drawing her into a fate she cannot escape. That is very wordy. Basically, what happens is there's a woman that she has a podcast with a co-host who's in England. They receive an email that has 10 different recordings following this couple. And what ends up happening is by playing these recordings, she ultimately summons a demon
Mhm.
and some bad shit happens. So I will say, like, here's the thing. I did really enjoy this movie. It has some flaws that we'll definitely talk about as we get through it, but I thought it was pretty effective. I think it's really creepy. I think it sets a mood and a tone. I love how it's lit. There's so many like shadows, and you're always like kind of looking like behind her. But it basically follows this one woman, Evie. There's only two people on screen the entire movie: Evie and her mother, who's basically catatonic, dying. But like, there's lots of times where Evie's like on the mic or they're listening to recordings, and again, you just like you're looking in the back, you're waiting for something to happen. It's really creepy and really effective. So Steven, I think you suggested we speak about this movie. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I suggested it just because I that's the last film I'd seen in the theater.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I didn't see any reviews and influencer takes or anything like that. So I went in fresh and I love it. The reason, one of the things I love most about it is that I love sound design. And that's my favorite part of films. And just go in the theater experience because of that. I think sound design is just so much, you can really appreciate it in a theater more so than you can at home. So there's so many movies that you can watch at home and just kind of get the same sound experience because but with a movie like that, you have to see in the theater for you. Most people say you have to see this in the theater because it's grand spectacle, the visuals and all the effects and stuff. But this is one you have to see in the theater for the sound. And I love
So
it.
I'm actually really happy you say that. I'm sorry to cut you off because I
No, go
did
ahead.
not
Yeah.
see it in the theater. I watched it at home. And
Mhm.
my big flaw of the movie, there's two main things. But one of the main things is that I have a pretty good sound setup at home. I have a nice surround system, like sound bar, nice TV, everything like that.
Whoa, whoa,
And
whoa, whoa,
since
whoa, 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 whoa. Time out, time out.
I'm a podcast host, and this
You
is the
got yourself a
most
nice
popular podcast
You got yourself
in
a
the
nice
horror
sound
world.
setup, and then you're rocking some can of
I spent it all on speakers. I spent a lot. No, so anyway, so I have a pretty good setup at home. It's not the best setup, obviously. I don't have a home theater, but it's a decent enough setup.
Okay.
And because this movie relies so much on sound,
Yeah.
a lot of the times I couldn't really make out the things I was supposed to be hearing.
Hmm.
Like whenever like the one character, Justin, who you don't see, he's the co-host of the podcast, he's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't
Because you're
hear
fucking
that."
deaf.
That is also true. I am half deaf, but like so I didn't pick up on a lot of the nuances that you probably picked up on in the theater. That didn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie. I just there's a
But I do
bunch of
think it's also
times.
visually. I think as you were talking about, the way they play with shadows and the lighting is very unique, stylized. I mean, especially I mean the final scene with the red on the from the TV, and
Mm.
I think visually it was so well done, so subtle, so patient. And the way that the camera just kind of slowly moved around rooms, and you're just always expecting something in the background, and sometimes you see something, sometimes you don't, but you're always on the edge of your seat expecting it. I love that. But yeah, back to the sound. I think the sound just made everything, and you because once she puts on the headphones, you hear that like suction sound of like her like everything else getting spaced out, and so all we hear is what she's hearing in the headphones, and you hear it's so dynamic. It's such great sound.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of that at home, unfortunately. One other thing that I really like is I just like the storytelling aspect of it. Like I was glued, like what's going to happen, what's the next recording. But I also
Yeah.
liked how the movie is very subtle and like you really get to know Evie's psychology throughout the movie, not even by things that they tell you, it's just by kind of like little things like, the way she interacts with her dead mother. And you really, like, without saying too much, because she doesn't interact with too many people throughout the movie, you
Right.
really do get a picture of like the kind of trauma that she's going through with not just dealing with her dead mother that she feels guilt over, but also the fact that she's finds out she's pregnant and is debating on whether or not to keep the baby. And like that's a big part of the struggle. And what ends up happening again is she does summon a demon who's known for creating miscarriages. So it's very kind of really brings you into that trauma more. So I really appreciated how they do a little, but they tell you a lot.
That's kind of the best storytelling there is when you don't have to over explain things and just talk things. She never does a confessional.
Yeah.
Like where she's just like, but I'm feeling this way and that way, and man, babies, like they don't have to. They keep everything such a minimum, and that's I think that's just it was brilliant. It's filmmaking you don't see too much, and especially in the horror genre.
Yeah, like there's just like one moment that always sticks out is like after like she kind of freaks out on her. She thinks she hears her mother speak and then goes into the room and the mother's again catatonic and she kind of freaks out. And then she makes a quick phone call to like the women's like clinic. And I'm like thinking like, oh, she's gonna get an abortion now. Like, they don't really tell you that, but it's just like you just think like, oh, this is like she's made her decision based on this thing that happened. And I just like that it's not like in your face. It's just you gotta pay attention, but like it's so subtle, but like then you're and that makes the ending of the movie like so much more powerful. Anyway, so Jerry, how about you?
I
How
think
do you feel about
that
this
was a great
movie?
ending too. I think everything it was leading up to was very well paced. The scares, everything built so well. And again, nothing was like so crazy over the top or it's just like, that's silly. It never jumped the shark at any point. So that's there's so many levels why I appreciated this film. So I'm surprised that you had a lot of friends that told you it wasn't. Yeah, I mean things get overhyped all the time, so maybe I don't know if it lived up to the hype they were expecting, but it was definitely a great horror film.
Yeah, I've learned to not look at reviews that happen when a movie like either is at like a premiere or like an early screening because those are always like insanely positive, and then actual people see the movie and they're like, "Oh, it wasn't that great." But a lot of it is, I think people expected hype and then they were disappointed. I went in not expecting anything and was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jerry, how
so
about you?
I'm the social media guy of the podcast, so I'm actually constantly being bombarded with hype, So if a movie comes out, a film comes out, it starts getting some hype. Like I'm basically staring at it like all day long. I'm reading all the reviews, I'm reading all the comments, I'm all over it. So I did have pretty high expectations jumping into this film, and I too watched it at home with my mediocre sound system. I don't have a Dolby Atmos, which is probably what you need to get all the correct, sound that this film needs. But it was pretty good and I watched it alone. I watched it late at night. It was dark. It was a storm, and it fucking hit that mood perfect. It
Oh,
just
good,
nailed
good.
it. I just took my phone, I threw it across the other side of the room, and I wanted to lock into this
Nice.
film. And I'm going to echo a lot of like what you guys are saying, but what I really want to say is I feel like the audio was so good and the narrative was so good. You could almost see what was happening, even though you're just hearing it. So, like when that couple were talking, on those audio files,
Yeah.
like you could see the actions that they were performing without actually just by hearing it. And for that to kind of transcend and actually be something they could visualize, I thought was really good. And I was not expecting that in this film. Honestly, I thought it was going to be another Skinamarink film that was kind of like a letdown to me, where it's like, this is all atmosphere. This is all your imagination. This is all build. This is all, and some films could deliver on that and some don't. I really think that this movie, it just keeps creeping into you and it just gets unsettling. And honestly, every time I put on headphones, I'm like this too. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, like
Especially at 3 a.m. because
yeah,
she's recording
I
these
start hearing
episodes at
shit.
3 a.m.
Yeah, like you hear something and I'm like, was that my cat? Like, what the, what was that? And you start creeping yourself out. And this film kind of taps into that because like she's listening to a scary story that's real, but at the same time she's in a really weird situation and a creepy situation, and it's just kind of compounding and building and building. And honestly,
And
I
the
didn't know
camera
if
work on that is
oh, it was
perfect.
the camera work where they like spin around the room and they
That
flip
was
it
perfect.
sideways. It brings you into like it kind of builds a bit of a chaos, and like you buy into it. If you buy into the beginning of this film, the second she puts on those headphones, you're in. And I think it works. If you don't, then this is going to be a huge fail for anyone who watches it. But for me, I bought into it, and I really want to just say one more thing is that a lot of these films, you always worry about, are they going to land the plane? Is it going to be okay? Are they going to wrap it up in a good way. And I feel like they did in this
Yeah.
film, where a lot of times I'm just like, it's too ambiguous. It's too like that made no sense. But I feel like they kind of gave you what you wanted, and it wrapped up pretty good because it was a little ambiguous. But whatever you take away from that, it's not a good ending. You're like, that's fucked up. And I think
Yeah.
that's all that was supposed to happen. You'd be like, that was fucked up.
I'll be honest. So I did watch the movie twice. The first time I was a bit confused by the last like 15 minutes or so. It just like I wasn't sure exactly what was happening. And on the second watch, I got it. I don't know if I just lost focus for a minute or not. But the first time I was a little confused. I think I texted you right after. I'm like, I don't know what just happened. But then I like rewatched it and like maybe locked in more to it because the first time I watched it was just for fun. Like, and then I watched it for the show where I really paid attention to it. And then everything kind of made sense to me. I do think, like you said, it's a movie that you need to watch in the dark, lights out at night, to really get the whole vibe of it for sure. It's definitely a mood. I think the one thing that was like really difficult for me though is because as one of the hosts of probably the most successful podcast out there, the one people really want to watch. I'm like watching it through the lens of like, man, their podcast seems kind of boring. Like just the way like they interacted with each other, like it was like I'm like I don't know who would listen to this. And then I'm thinking like, wow, it takes them like 3 nights to record like a 30-minute episode because they record for like 5 minutes and then they stop and then they
That part was
Inefficient.
frustrating. It was like where she kept on cutting on him. Like, well,
yeah,
let's
I was
just
like,
do
who
this.
does it? Who has 3 nights to record a
Right.
podcast? And then I was confused by like, okay, like they record it, and then okay, then now they're doing an episode that's live, but it's at 3 in the morning. So who's actually watching?
But
But
wait,
I didn't
that
pick up on the one guy's
you were
in England.
disturbed. Yeah,
So
he's in England. It's
I
9
didn't pick up
a.m.,
on that the
dude.
first time though. I didn't
It's
pick
like
up on that.
like that's even worse. It's like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., depending on like, what part of the year they're in. And I'm like, who the hell wants to record a creepy podcast at like 8 a.m. before work? It's literally like the last thing I'm thinking about. Like when I wake up, I'm not like, oh man, I need to record this podcast right now.
And listen to
And
these creepy voicemails. Yeah.
and she's like staying up to 3. And at 3:25, she's like, "All right, let's wrap it up." There's a little. It's like, what the hell we wait all night for?
Yeah.
Just thinking about this though, Steven, do you feel like this is like the future of horror? Like these kind of like not so much like the visual, but more of like the auditory kind of psychological dread. And is this something that you would ever want to kind of like try?
No, I don't think it's. What I appreciate is that I think horror is in such a good place right now. I think there's so much unique stories being told right now. Some big swings being taken in horror, and I just love a cool, original, fun, scary story that's in this. It did something different with sound. I don't think that everyone's going to go, balls to the wall. Like let's make some kind of crazy sound design based film. I think that fit the story. I think that's all story based. It's a podcast, right? And she spends most of the movie on her headphones, right? And so I think it fits for that though. But no, I just love where we are. Just I love going to the theater, watching horror, and just saying like, "Damn, they nailed it!" Like I love that for my industry. I love it for horror, and horror's kicking ass right now. Just every time I go to the theater and I see a horror movie just like kicks ass, I'm just like, damn it, we're doing it. This is great.
Yeah, it helps
Like
when they
this is
start
great.
making
Yeah.
money too. It's like, all right, cool. All
Right,
right.
it's doing well. It's like it's getting butts and seats, and like that's what we need. We need you two to get into theaters, not be watching it at home. But
So I do go to the theater pretty
I
often
do.
though, but
no, I know
I
you
did
do.
skip this
I'm
one.
joking.
Yeah,
You guys both said you watched it. I know you two
yeah,
would.
I do try to go like pretty often. Like I just saw The Mummy recently, so I will go to the
Oh,
theater.
now
I
that I
just
haven't
missed
gotten
this
to
one.
that. Should I see it?
All right, so here's my thing on it. It's about a half hour too long. I wish it was scary, but the gore is really good and there's some really crazy fucked up shit that happens. It's very similar to his other film, Evil Dead Rise. I would say it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
basically the same movie, just longer and like not as cool. But
Okay.
if you like Evil Dead Rise, I think it's worth a watch because it
Got it.
has like very similar kind of things that happen in it. I would say there is some stuff that happened. I was like, oh God, that was disgusting. So they did a really good job there.
Right.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it could have been like 90.
Sure.
And I'm not even sure what they cut out because there's a lot of story, but something about it just felt like it dragged in a lot of parts. But
It felt 2 hours and 15 minutes.
it felt 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, I think it's worth seeing it in the theater, though. I'm not mad that I paid like $20 to see it. So, it's okay. It's not. It's good. It's decent. It's good. It's not great, but it's watchable. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Evil Dead Rise, though. Like, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
tough to
That was
top that.
fantastic in the
Is that
theaters.
what
I just
ticket
want to
prices
say.
are going for in LA? They're
It's and this so anywhere from like 20 to 30, but usually I usually go Tuesday, Wednesdays when AMC has like the half off, but for whatever reason I didn't get to do it, so I went on the like a Friday and yeah. It's a lot. Then
yeah.
you add in drinks and you add in food and
Well,
it
yeah,
becomes
once you have
I get that
yeah, you're
popcorn.
screwed. Yeah.
yeah, because we got there early, so it's like, well, what do we do? Well, there's a bar right there, so
Have to,
let's get some
have
drinks.
to, or headed up.
Let's yeah, yeah.
But I just want to say, in defense, Stephen, I do live by like a small movie theater, and they usually just play a film for like 3 or 4 days, and I actually work in another state, so it's very difficult for me during the week to get to the theater. But
Yeah.
I do try like whenever I can. I honestly I had 100%. Like I was like ready to go to Undertone, and I just missed it by the day. I'm
It
like,
wasn't out that
damn it,
long. That's the thing. Yeah.
damn it.
And
Yeah, it was only
well,
out for a little bit. It doesn't matter what movie it is. It could
oh,
be the
I'm a
biggest movie
hypocrite.
the
Listen, I was
theater
just
only
teasing
has.
because like I like right now I'm asking like how was the Mummy? Of course I haven't gone to see it. So, like,
How dare you?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, I was only teasing. But I do like seeing these kind of movies have success. It just makes it's just like such a as a filmmaker myself, but also a horror filmmaker, it's like that warm feeling. It's like there's like an something that's it's not $100 million huge IP movie, but it's kicking butt, and people are liking it. People are going out to see it. People are leaving their homes, they're going to see it, and I think that's what I love about horror because it's like one of the last genres outside of superheroes that it's just well, I guess kids movies too, but it's just very consistent. Just audiences are gonna go see them, and I think that the horror industry is in a great place right now. There's so many good filmmakers making original stuff right now that's awesome.
Yeah, it's always been resilient, unlike, say, like comedy, for example. Like they don't really make adult comedies anymore because they're just, for whatever reason, they're just not as,
Yeah, and I do
profitable.
get it.
But
Yeah,
horror movies, they're always going to make
yeah,
tons of them, which is like really
yeah.
promising. So really good. So I see Jerry doing a little more pouring there.
Stephen, I'm about to change the mood of this podcast right now. I know we're enjoying Undertone and stuff like that, but I have a little game I was thinking about for us to play. I mean,
We
you're
can't play flip
definitely
cup with scotches and
we can't. But the good thing
Says
is
who?
the horror heads are versed in bourbon drinking games. So we played probably about 68, 69 drinking games in our career so far, all bourbon based. So you're with the right people here for this. And the way I like to think of you, Stephen, is you're a found footage expert. You kind of mentioned when said, hey, is there any sort of film you want to discuss? Is there anything you want to talk about? Like, maybe some found footage,
yeah.
mockumentary type things. I'm like, this fucking guy likes found footage. So I have a game that I invented just recently. So we had our friend Brandon Christensen on, and I don't know if you know him. He's a great director. He just did Body Cam, which is a fantastic
Mhm.
found footage film,
Yep.
and he really kind of pulled back the curtains on how he created that film. So it was great, and we pulled out this game for him, and I think it's perfect for you. And this is a little drinking game, and it's a simple game. It's called Was It Found Footage? So I have some names of some real films, and I'm just going to ask you if it was found footage or if it wasn't found footage. And it's a 50-50 guess.
All
And
right,
if you
you're
don't
just gonna
know,
name
I'm
some.
just going to name some, and I'll give you the year if you need the year, just in case there's like a similar named film. And you just have to be like, yeah, it's found footage or it's not. The good news is I usually do these things solo. So I'm going to give you Rich as your partner, where you could kind of converse and you guys could kind of come up with an answer. But here's the bad news. There are some stakes. So Rich has a deck of horror cards. and he's just going to pull a card. And that's how many sips are on the line. So my question is, are you down to play this game right now?
Let me see. What do I have to do in the morning?
I will tell you there's not too many films. How about that?
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, so the legal team, you guys got that? Okay, we're good. We got the consent form. So Rich, why don't you pull a card and let us know like what's on the line here?
This is a 9.
A 9. This is a big one. We're starting out really, really big. So you guys got to think about this. So
And we got to get it right because I don't want to drink 9 sips of this disgusting old fashioned. So
yeah, think about what's on the line here, Stephen.
I wish I had said like what I'm pouring tonight is a Coors Light.
No, we got this. We got this. I feel confident.
You guys got this. Okay, so this is a fairly new film. You may not.
You set me up to fail, by the way. Where you're like, you fancy yourself a found footage expert.
Well, I want to let you know that Rich and Brandon did win. So I usually lose no matter what.
And I'm no expert on anything. So
that's what usually happens. So listen, I think you may know this, but we'll see. All right, ready? Was it found footage? The name of the film is Exists from 2014.
Jesus, never heard of that.
Never heard of it, really. I've seen it.
Is it found footage? Damn, I'm
not that drunk. 9 sips. Exist. What do you guys got?
Sounds so familiar.
So it's 2014.
Yep. Call it out, guys. Just call it out.
I'm gonna say it's not, but I don't know. That's just a guess.
Shit, I was gonna say it is.
Okay, I'm gonna go with you, Steven, because I don't want you to hate me. I'm literally guessing. I'm literally just guessing. So like, let's go with you.
Wait, Exists.
Okay. Don't overthink it.
Let's not overthink it because we got a few to get through here. So Exists
kind of feels like something to do with like aliens, like and there's a lot of alien found footage.
Okay, let's do it. Let's lock in.
So going found footage. Okay, you guys are right. You guys are right.
See, don't listen to me.
So I gotta take my sips. So I'm taking the sips. I gotta take 9 sips on that, and it's about like Sasquatch.
Yeah. Okay. More. Yeah.
Not aliens. Got it.
Is that the Bobcat Goldthwait one?
No,
that's Willow Creek, I believe.
That's Willow Creek. Yeah.
I like that.
Correct. All right, let's go to the next one here. Was it found footage?
This is 5 sips.
Oh, for 5 sips. Sorry, man, I'm jumping the gun here. Okay,
slow down.
The Painted from 2024.
I'm gonna say it's not. Are they still making found footage movies? Like they're not making them that often anymore, right?
Well, there's a big one coming out in May. Backrooms.
That's found footage? I didn't realize that.
There's a new PA coming out.
Okay, I'm wrong. Don't listen to
me. No, I take that back because Backrooms kind of has the feeling of like both. It does a little bit of narrative, traditional, and it has like a little bit of found footage-y feel to it. You're right to say, are they still doing that? So I think I'll agree with you. Yeah.
So not found footage.
That's what
you guys are right again. See, it's going downhill, Steven. It's going downhill. How many was that, dude?
They don't make 5 films anymore. At 2024, they.
You know what? After Hell House 4, like, why would you make another one? You never even compare to that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I got to come back. Pull that card.
I wasn't allowed to make a Hell House 5 as found footage. It was done. So
you can't top greatness. So this is going to be for 6.
6. Okay. So guys, I watched this film last night. It's called Broadcast Signal Intrusion from 2012.
So here's what I'm going to say. If you don't know the answer, Stephen, I'm going to say Jerry's told me off camera that he's been watching a lot of shitty found footage movies lately. So if he watched something last night, I'm assuming it's found footage because he's been on a kick. So I'm going to say
that is the title that screams found footage. Like
it's a cool title. Yeah.
I'm
gonna say it is.
All right, so you guys lost this one. It's not found footage; it's narrative, and it's a fantastic film. It's a great mystery. So take your 6 sips. They do watch a tape, but it's not actually. 99% of it is narrative. So, no, there's not found footage.
The way you said that, broadcast. What's it called?
Yeah, broadcast signal intrusion. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do because I feel like found footage films kind of have like a certain name
It sounds
to them.
very, but that just reminded me
Talented.
of a film I saw right around that time. I want to say 2010, 2011. Not well known, but fantastic, called Pontypool.
Oh, yeah,
I
I've seen
love
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Canadian
That's
film.
so
Hell yeah.
Similar to Undertone, I would say, in that again, it's
yeah.
like two people in a room basically, and you don't know what's really happening outside. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that in a long time, but I remember really liking it. Okay, so we've learned now the one time you listen to me is the one time we got it wrong. So don't listen to me on this
No,
one.
I was on board with that.
I just want to say I read an interview with Ian Toussaint recently, and he said he pulled a lot of Undertone from Pontypool. Just by
There you
the
go.
way. So
Oh, the
there
way.
you go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So okay,
All right,
pull that card.
another
six. Okay. All right. Let's go with Natty Knox from 2023.
You're laughing. Steven's laughing, and I don't know if he's laughing because he's
Is he laughing because he saw it, and
No, I've never,
or he's laughing because he feels like he's about to take 6 sips?
50-50 here. I have not. Have you heard of it?
No.
Natty Knox?
Natty Knox. So the Knox is like Knox, like Natty Knox.
Natty Knox.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Good title. All right. I'm gonna say it's not.
I'll agree with you on that.
Okay, you guys got another one. Damn it!
All
What is that?
right.
I gotta take
So
6.
6, yeah. So just for everybody keeping score at home, Jerry's at 20 sips. We are at 6.
Yeah,
If it was called like I need something easy like the Natty Knox tapes.
yeah, exactly. Well, I tried not to find those, but I just want you to know, Steven, in post that we're gonna have these totals up there, so you guys need to win, otherwise it's gonna look really bad. And
Yeah, we don't want to look
I'm gonna
bad.
fucking post that shit too. That you guys lost.
But I'm feeling pretty good. So
All right, so we only got a couple more here. So okay, pull the card and let's see what we got here.
3.
A 3.
Got a 3.
Okay, all right. Here's one of my favorite films. Rambach, Berlin, Undead
Okay, whatever.
from 2010. It's German.
Rambach, Berlin, Undead.
Yeah, that's right. That's the name of the film. I didn't make
Okay.
it up.
So it's like so it's like a zombie movie and
Yeah, I didn't make that up. That's a real
There's
film.
very
You can watch it
few-
tomorrow if you want on Tubi.
I'm good.
outside of like what Wreck, there's very few found footage zombie movies, right?
Probably, but I am going to think this is found footage. I just don't know why, because I feel like, why would he pick a German film? So I feel like it is found footage. I'm trying to get into the psychology of Jerry versus like
I
actually knowing
love
the
that.
answer.
I love the way you break it
It's
down.
not.
And you sound so super confident. It is. I'm going found
All
footage.
right.
Then you guys can take some drinks because it's
Damn!
not found footage.
Again, I'm wrong. Okay. See,
Yes,
it
but it
shows
is
how
a-
little I know Jerry.
It,
So that's
it is a German zombie film. All right, so I got one more.
Wait, is
Let's-
it good? Do you know of it? Have you seen it?
It's not good. I watch a lot of terrible movies. I just want to be and I love them. But would I recommend them? No. What I like is what probably most
No,
people.
I love that. I love you have a passion for
the
whole variety of
Exactly. That is my passion. If you have $17 and a camera and like some sort of paper tube of bourbon, I want to watch that film. So
now you know how we made the first Hell House. Okay.
all right, so let's pull this last one here. Make it a good one. Make it a good one.
I
Rich.
pulled a 2. I'm not going to do that.
No, don't end on that.
7.
7. Okay, 7. Okay. So there's
All
a
right,
lot
this is
of
it
line
right
here.
here.
This is it. This is really
Blair
depends on
Witch.
whether you guys win or lose.
Well, we already won, but we want to win big. That's what we want.
Pretty sure.
Looking at the numbers,
Okay.
we already won. But like,
All right, damn it. I guess 7 ain't gonna put me over the edge. Okay. All right, here we go. For 7 sips, was it found footage? The Monster Project from 2017.
Found footage.
I'll go with that.
That's found footage.
Yeah, decisive victory for us.
You
Jerry
made
is
that
slamming
easy.
his head
Anything
into
with
the.
like project. Is
I
the
thought you
Seven
guys
sips.
would talk yourselves out of it. I use psychology as well, where I'm like, they're going to talk
no.
themselves out of it because it's too
I stayed
easy.
quiet. I stayed very quiet because I just get in the way. So that's 7 sips. So once again, Jerry loses another drinking game. Congrats to myself and Steven for winning this. Getting back to Undertone really quick. So yeah, like we talked about the movie. I think again, it's effective. It's creepy. It's got some good scares in it. I wish the audio I wish I had a better surround sound system so I could hear some of the audio that I missed. But other than that, like, yeah, I enjoyed it. So what we do on this show is we rate every movie we talk about on a scale of 0 to 5 bloody knives. And we do play a little drinking game that gets attached to that. And
Another.
what that means is, yeah, we're gonna do this is really quick though. So what's gonna happen, Steven, is the number of bloody knives I give a movie are the number of sips Jerry needs to drink. The number of bloody knives he gives are what you need to drink, and then I'm gonna drink whatever you give, and we're all gonna drink together just to keep it consistent. So, Steven, what do you give Undertone 0 to 5?
4.
4. Okay, good score. Good score. 4. Yeah, no, it works for me. I'm not going to go as high as 4, but I am going to give it a 3.5. And I watched it twice. I'm probably going to watch it again, even though I already know what's going to happen. I think it's really effective, and again, it does keep me on the edge of my seat as I want to know what happens next.
Can
And
I
I
throw
really,
one thing out about it?
Throw
yeah,
it.
sure.
Throw it.
Toss it.
What do you think about this? Both having seen it, you've seen it twice. Wouldn't it be cool to have a sequel, but it's not a sequel, it's just from her co-host's perspective?
Justin's hell yes.
So,
'Cause I think that's there.
here's my thing. I feel like Justin's a bit of a pussy, so I kind of know, like
What? Man,
he's really freaking out at like the
he's doing all
very
the
end.
work though, dude.
Yeah, but I don't know, I don't know if he'd be as interesting to me because like he was the very last 10 minutes of the movie is just him freaking out, and I'm kind of like, why are you freaking out? Like the demon is attacking Evie. You're just like
We
in
don't know
London
what's
chilling.
happening. We
Well,
don't know
that's
what's
the thing.
happening.
But I
We
don't
have no
think
idea
maybe,
what's happening.
but
Boy.
maybe there's more that we don't know that's going on
Yeah.
with him. That's what I mean by like what it would be cool to see that perspective because there could be so much more going on in his world that we don't know about at all.
So
Yeah.
A24 gives Steven a truck full of money and he will make that sequel for you if you
Oh, I
so
don't. I
choose.
don't need to make that.
I'm just trying to get you a truck of money, man. Like you do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
All right, so Steven gives it a 4. I'm giving it 3.5. Jerry, your rating?
I mean, first of all, Rich, I am fucking shocked that you gave it such a high score. I
Me
thought you were
too.
gonna hate this fucking
Same.
movie.
Yeah.
I really, really did. And you probably thought I was gonna love this fucking movie, which I did.
Yeah.
So, it's shocking. I don't know. I gotta think if it's a 4. It's not a 4 for me. It's close though. It's right on the edge. I mean, I'm gonna stick with you. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think this was so well executed. It worked. It was effective. It scared me. I got the chills. There were times where I was sitting on the couch and I was just kind of looking behind me and I'm like, fucking, what was that? And it was like the heat coming on or something like that. It was just kind of starting to bug me out. And I'm a fucking middle-aged man, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that it scared me really says a lot. I get paid a lot of money a year to watch horror films all year long, all day long, for this podcast. You don't become a millionaire watching, horror movies unless you're an expert. So the fact that it actually scared me, I think says a lot. It was effective. So I'm giving it 3.5. I think it was a really good film. And if there happens to be a sequel with Justin, I'm in. I'm all in.
All right, so cool. So Jerry and Steven are going to drink for 3.5. I'm doing 4. Let's cheers to that.
Ooh.
God, this is so disgusting. All right, so that's Undertone. So Steven, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, Stephen Cognetti. You can check out all 5 House LLC films as well as 825 Forest Road. I believe they're all on Shudder. If not, you could rent them on Amazon, pay some money, get Steven some more bigger house, if he needs it. How could people find you if they want to kind of like learn more about you? Do you have like social, like what's the best way to people stalk you?
There's a map, and if you find the map, you will. Yeah. No.
Is it in my library? I just want to know that.
Yeah. No. I'm Stephen Cognetti on Instagram, and I'm Stephen Cognetti in real life too. And yeah, that's it. I don't do Facebook much. And I don't do. I love Twitter, but mostly just for nonsense.
Isn't that
Same.
all socials for? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Stephen. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you and get a peek behind the curtain. And yeah, everybody support his work, Hell House, and then look out for Body in the Woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully coming.
That probably won't be out till sometime in 27.
All right, 2027. We'll be here. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Cheers.
Cheers.
Peace.
Good night, guys.